obviously are very interested in the Mecole Hardman signing for the Green Bay Packers. What does he have left in the tank, Adam? You think he can be a contributor? We think it'll mostly be on special teams. What's your take?
I would say special teams would be a likely spot. I think some gadget plays, some runs, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But, look, they got their receivers. This is an experienced guy. He's never been a wide receiver one. That's not what he does. But he does have big-time speed. He does make big plays. He can contribute on special teams. They could probably run a reverse or two to him, something like that, and have him make an impact. Never hurts to have a guy like that around. Speed always is valuable.
Why didn't they like him in New York, Adam? I heard the players didn't really care for him. I mean, is he a little bit of a problem case?
I don't know. He's bounced around Kansas City, New York, back to Kansas City, now to Green Bay.
Is he more of a returner, though, Adam? Did they do that because Keyshawn Nixon, who has been the returner here for a couple of years, is now going to be locked in a corner? Was that
I would think that they're going to count on Mecole in the special teams. I think that would be the primary reason that you'd sign a guy like that. Again, I think he can contribute as a wide receiver some, but I think they're probably thinking more along the lines of special teams.
Adam, again, we're past the combine, a lot of the pro days happening. Yep. When's the deadline for names that are going to be in Green Bay for the draft? Because I know it's anticipated to be a low number, but when are we going to actually know who's going to be there, who's not going to be there player-wise for the draft?
They usually make that announcement in the next couple of weeks. I think there have already been invitations that have gone out. There are some players who have accepted. What we've seen in recent years is there's been a trend to have a decreasing number. It used to be, I've covered the NFL for 35 years, and I think early on it was a few handful of guys. It was nobody. Then they started inviting select guys to New York when the draft was in the city. And then as they traveled the draft around the country, they grew the number of draft picks attending to where it was like 15, 20 guys. It was a lot. And now they've gone the other way and they've scaled it back some again. And I don't know what number they're going to settle at. I would guess it's less rather than more. And I would guess that we'll have that list in a couple of weeks here.
Are you surprised, Adam, that it's not mandatory? Are you surprised the league hasn't stepped in and said, if you're projected as a first-round pick, you have to be there? Because I got to think that a small number affects the vibe of the draft, doesn't it?
I don't think it does. Again, they asked for the top guys to come in, and you can't mandate to somebody on what is the most important day of their young professional lives that you have to be here. You're not even under contract. So how can you mandate when there are some people that prefer to be with their family, in their hometown, with their high school friends, their college friends, whatever it may be? And, Green Bay is not a simple place to get to for some of these guys. So, no. And by the way, let's also be honest. It's a TV production. It's a TV production. So if they're part of a TV production and you're playing a role, you should be paid for your role in that TV production. And I think the league obviously flies in, these guys, and they fly in some of their family members, and they make it to be a really nice weekend for the guys that do go. But there are guys that feel like, I don't want to be there. I remember Joe Thomas wanted to go fishing. He had plans to go fishing with his father that day, the draft, and he did that, and people couldn't believe, you're going to be a top 3 pick here, and you're still going fishing with your father? Well, that's what he wants to do. And everybody's different. Everybody wants a different way. And so I don't think you can ever mandate that you have to go. I think the league tries to apply certain pressure to say, hey, we'd really like you to, it's important for you to be here. I'm sure they would say that to Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, but that doesn't ensure that everybody's going to be there.
Yeah, so I think it's really interesting, Adam, because I do think that you start getting really small numbers of guys showing up to the draft, and everything does start to get affected. I think, like you said, the television production is affected. I just don't think I think people like that moment of guys walking across the stage and holding up the jersey and hugging the commissioner. I think, then doing the interview right then and there with some of our talented reporters. I'm just saying, I think what you said is likely going to happen down the road. The league will start incentivizing financially guys going. And I don't think we're that far off from that.
And by the way, we're also where the NIL is taking over, right? So these kids used to be being paid now for certain to them. Hey, we want to be in Green for the draft, or Pittsburgh for the draft, or Washington. Okay, how much is that? No. We just want to. Yeah, well, I'm not doing that. Like the guys that have been trained to be paid in college, I think they're going to think differently. And I don't know whether the league has or hasn't offered a stipend in the past. I think they may have. I really don't know the honest answer. Right? Maybe the 5, 10. My point is, the number one pick to be there, that would be a valuable thing, right? It's valuable to the league, it's valuable to networks, it's valuable to everything. And his time is valuable, too. He may want to be there, commissioner, and to experience the draft on stage in Green Bay. Like, that would be a very cool thing. It's a once-in-a-lifetime memory, and not everything do you have to get paid for in life to make it a memorable moment, too. So there's that flip side to that as well, which is why guys have attended the draft for years. And I guarantee if you ask them, they would say, I'm glad I attended. That's something I won't ever forget. That's a moment that I could never, that I'll never get back. It's always in top of mind, and I don't care how much they pay me, because it's not about the money. But I'm just talking about in this day and age that we're living in, where guys are used to getting paid. There are going to be cases like that where guys don't go because they're not paid. That's all.
Adam, what are your thoughts on the draft? Is this a good draft, bad draft, deep draft, not a deep draft, average draft?
Like every draft, it has strengths in certain spots, weaknesses in others. I don't think, generally speaking, it's one of the stronger drafts that we've seen in recent years, if you talk to people around the league. Look, we could just look at this factoid in and of itself, and I was talking to a general manager about this last night, but we haven't seen one first-round draft pick traded yet. Not one. The only other time that it has gone on this late where there has not been a first-round draft pick traded or moved was back at 1993, when 5 days before the draft, the Kansas City Chiefs traded their first-round pick, which was the first time that first-round pick was moved that year, to the 49ers for a quarterback named Joe Montana. That was 5 days before the draft. We are now basically just over a month out of the draft, and every team has its first-round draft pick. And part of the reason that we think that's the case is because it's not one of the deeper quarterback classes or more talented quarterback classes that we've seen. And usually when teams are jockeying around in the first round, usually it's about the quarterback. And in this particular case, there aren't a lot of quarterbacks that are worth moving up for.
When do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to make his final decision, Adam? Because it seems like a potential teammate in Cam Hayward is already upset with him in the time he is taking to decide if he wants to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, if he wants to do something else, if he wants to retire. When do you think Aaron finally makes that decision? Because in the past, he's always been, I want to get that decision to teams quickly so they can make off-season plans. But now it's a little Favre-esque.
Well, first of all, did we not address that on this show last week? Basically, I said it in a very matter-of-fact way, and all of a sudden it becomes this thing that I'm reading online that I skewered Aaron Rodgers from a clip on this program last week, and I got after him. Like, in what universe was I skewering him or going after him? I was just pointing out, you want to play, play. You want to play in Pittsburgh, play in Pittsburgh. That's all I said exactly what Cam Hayward said. Are people ripping Cam Hayward too? Like, I don't get it. Right? We were on this show. We have this conversation. Next thing I know, it's like this viral thing that I'm ripping Aaron Rodgers on. I'm not ripping Aaron Rodgers. I'm pointing out. It'd be nice to make a decision. Everybody's waiting. It's up to him. He gets to do what he wants.
I was just happy I answered. I asked you the question.
Chewy's good for a viral moment every 365 days or so. Adam, I do want to clarify this, though.
Hold on, Jen. Not done. Jen, hold on. So from last week's appearance, the two things that come out of it, I go viral for skewering Aaron Rodgers, and I get garbage information about the players from Chewy, from Dave. That That was a real
It's
worthwhile
been a tough week. It's been a tough week.
Not a great
like-
week for Adam on this show.
I was gonna say,
Not a great week.
He's having second thoughts about continuing his partnership. Adam, I do want to
Oh,
clarify
good.
this,
He's wearing
though.
a Pacers shirt again.
I wondered when you would get to that game.
That's my former protest. And by the way, the Bucks were very kind. The Bucks sent a lot of stuff, and I got to wear a Bucks shirt on this. That was very, very kind. Zach came through. Barry Bowen came through. Really nice. Really nice.
I love to hear that. That's wonderful. Let me ask you this, though, Adam, regarding the Aaron Rodgers thing. Is there any truth to this idea that Kevin O'Connell is sort of waiting to make a decision, or is it your understanding that he has made a decision that he would like to stick with J.J. McCarthy? If things shake out a certain way, maybe they go the Aaron Rodgers way, but it is your opinion that Minnesota has moved on?
Well, that's what we've been saying. It's not something that's active. It's something down the line that if it reared itself, he was still out there, they felt like they needed a quarter. Could it happen down the line? Yeah. Are they thinking that way now? No. Are they pursuing him right now? No. Is it an option right now? No. Not at this time. Could it change? Sure. Something could change down the line, but that's not how they're thinking right now. And so if Aaron Rodgers wants to go get a team right now in the coming days and weeks, it looks like his options would be the Steelers and the Giants. Could the Vikings come into play in the spring later on? Yes, that could happen.
Well, Adam, we tried to avoid all landmines for you today. Gabe has no golf advice, and hopefully you didn't go viral from anything that you said. But I am looking forward to seeing some of the Bucks gear that they sent you.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was outstanding. And my fantasy basketball playoffs begin Monday, so if I can make a special request of Dame, I really need it to be Dame time starting Monday. Dame time.
Sounds like you might have an investment on the Bucks going forward.
Well, I have Damian Lillard on my fantasy basketball team. The playoffs start Monday, and like I said, it's go time. And we need our players to perform better than the golfers and the players in the AM, PM wave.
Gabe, you're not letting that down.
Man, he is not. Man, man is bitter. He is not letting this one go.
I love it. You deserve it. You choked, Gabe. You choked.
It was bad. Hey, look, I made decisions off that very same information, so I'm just as disappointed as Adam in my own league that I'm in.
Well, misery loves company. Adam, we appreciate you. Have a great one, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Have a great week, everybody.
Yeah, we're only about a month from seeing Adam Schefter here in Wisconsin when he's here for the NFL draft in Green Bay. That's very exciting as well. Love having Adam Schefter on the show, guys.